Yo, YouTube, what's good with y'all, man? It's your boy Q, man, back at y'all with another video, man. Thank you guys for checking out the channel, showing your boy some love. I really appreciate it, man. So, Ace Bailey, man. Ace Bailey, I'm pretty sure you guys all know who Ace Bailey is. Uh, Projected top three pick in this year's NBA draft. Um, has been the number one player in the country in the past coming out of high school. And a lot of teams have been concerned about Ace Bailey. Uh, he went to the combine earlier uh, in the draft process, and he measured in at 6'7", 3 inches shorter than what Rutgers had measured him at when he was playing over there with Dylan Harper and them. He's also turned down a whole lot of interviews and workouts. Like he hasn't worked out for any of the teams. Top three, top 20, you name it. He has not worked out for anybody. And it's drawing a lot of concerns amongst NBA circles right now. A lot of people are saying that it's a bad move for him not to do that. The agents, however, that's in his camp, feel extremely confident in the direction that the draft process is going for Ace Bailey. Now, I do believe that Bailey and his camp scheduled a visit with the Sixers or a workout with the Sixers, but then canceled on them. So what that tells me is I don't necessarily think that Ace Bailey wants to play for the 76ers. You guys know that Ace Bailey has gotten a lot of cosigns from a lot of NBA players such as Kevin Durant and Paul George also said something about Ace Bailey has the most potential out of every player coming into the draft, including Cooper Flag, who even he has worked out for the Dallas Mavericks. I don't know if he's worked out for any other teams, but I know that he worked out for the Mavericks and he killed the workout. So Ace Bailey, you can tell the kid is confident in his abilities. You know, I think his best attribute right now, because he's very young, he's only 18. You know what I'm saying? He's still got a lot of room to grow. But his best attribute right now is being able to score the ball. Not the most efficient scorer, you know what I mean? If you look at his numbers while he played at Rutgers, 17.6 points per game, 7 rebounds a game, 1.3 assists a game, and 46% from the field, 34% from the three, and 69% from the free throw line. So, although those numbers aren't crazy numbers, those numbers were good enough for him to be projected as a top three pick. But now, after he skipped his workout with the Sixers, he hasn't worked out with really any other teams. A lot of people are projecting him to go as late as the 10th pick now. We just seen what happened to Shador Sanders this past season, this past draft in the NFL draft. He was projected to be a top. He was projected to be at least the first round pick, slid all the way to the fifth round. You know what I'm saying? So anything can happen, you know, especially when the NBA wants to make an example out of a certain player and shit like that. Because a lot of times when it comes to the NBA, they don't want any player to have the mentality of, oh, I'm bigger than the program. You know what I mean? So they might make an example out of Ace Bailey, man, you know, but that doesn't take away from the potential that he has as a basketball player, but he does have a lot of flaws in his game, you know, especially coming in at 6'7", measuring in at 6'7" at the combine, 3 inches shorter than what you would have been. Now, those 3 inches in the NBA can make the difference between you being just a regular wing player or being a demigod or a motherfucking unicorn, you know? So that stuff like that matters, man. And he's a good rebounder for his size. You know, he was averaging like 7 rebounds a game, which is pretty good. But the only one of the main issues with Ace Bailey's game is his, I guess his defense. It leaves a lot to be desired, and also he has a 36 assist to 61 turnover ratio, which is really really bad. he is not a playmaker whatsoever. He definitely needs to work on that for sure. It was probably not very noticeable when he was playing at Rutgers because he was playing so well on offense when it came to scoring the ball. And Dylan Harper was there. Dylan Harper is also a projected top 2 pick in this draft. So he was there helping him out. So it didn't really look too noticeable. And Dylan Harper for the majority of the time was handling the playmaking duties and the ball handling duties and all of that. So it wasn't noticeable. But yeah, definitely something that Ace got to work on. You know what I mean? Ace Bailey is not um how do you say it? I wouldn't label him a generational talent. But he's moving like he's a generational talent. We've seen guys do things like this in the past though, so this is no surprise to me. Um, I guess it just depends on the type of player that you are. Now, I believe that Lonzo Ball in the past, when he was coming out of UCLA, he refused to work out with the Boston Celtics, who had the number 1 pick in the draft at the time. And I think that was based off of preference. Lonzo wanted to play for the Lakers, and his sights was set on playing for the Lakers. So that's why he didn't do that. But it's different in Ace Bailey's situation because he hasn't met with anybody. And it's like when it comes to a team's evaluating talent nowadays coming out of the NBA draft, especially the NBA draft because these kids are so young. Like Ace Bailey's not even old enough to drink yet. I feel like talent aside, because we know there's a whole lot of talented players that come out every year. Okay, talent aside, I think that it's important for teams to get to know the player, before they invest millions of dollars into them. Like get to know them, talk to them. Even if you don't work out with the teams, at least talk to teams and get an idea and get a sense of what type of player you're bringing into your building, man. And I think that's very, very important. People undermine that process a lot, because like I said, there's a lot of talented players, man, but talent can only get you so far in the NBA, man. There's a lot of talented players in this league, and a lot of them can't even see the floor, you know? So I think it's very important in that, and that's an important part of the process, but it just looks to me like he may be dictating where he wants to go because, like I said, I really do feel like the Sixers were very much in play for Ace Bailey. I don't know if he wants to go to the Spurs, but I just know that the Sixers had high interest in him. Now, VJ Edgecombe, another prospect out of Baylor, uber athletic shooting guard out of Baylor. He had a interview in a workout with the Sixers, and they were very, very impressed by him. He looks like the next coming of Jaylen Brown. I ain't gonna lie to you. Now, if you're the Sixers, you know what I mean. Ace Bailey has a lot of potential, but you don't know the kid like that. So I feel like if it came down to it today, I feel like the Sixers would probably take Edgecombe over him just off of that alone. You see what I'm saying? So maybe he doesn't want to play for the Sixers because you've seen the Sixers not be able to do anything with Ben Simmons and Markelle Fultz. That shit sailed. Joel Embiid is over there right now with Maxey and McCain, but I don't even think that's a championship level squad right now. But I do feel like if Ace Bailey would have went to a team like the Jazz, the Pelicans, he would have an opportunity to shine a little bit, because he would kind of be as soon as he steps foot on the team, he would be like one of the best players on the court, you know. So yeah, man, a lot to unpack here, man. I have never seen. I'm not gonna say I've never seen any player take this approach to where they're not working out for nobody, or interviewing with anybody, man. But we'll see what happens. If I had to guess where Ace Bailey ends up, I still think he ends up being like a top 5, top 6 pick, just because his potential is just so high. Like, if he can maximize his potential, I feel like he could be a top 10 player in the NBA in the future for sure. You know what I mean? Looks like a stockier version of a Brandon Ingram, but can't really pass as good as him. That's kind of what I see when I look at Bailey, man. When you're getting praise from the top NBA players of this generation, man, it means something. KD co-signing you, Paul George co-signing you. So, you know what I mean? He's very, very confident in his abilities, man, and he feels as though he doesn't need to go through the original draft process. A lot of kids nowadays coming out of kind of coming out of college, they're taking different approaches when it comes to the draft. A guy like Caleb Williams, who I never even thought was that good. You know what I mean? Honestly speaking, but he took a different approach when it came to the draft process as well, and it worked out for him. So you just never know, man. But I don't think it's that big of a deal, though, man. The kid's gonna get drafted at some point. You know what I mean? He's not gonna not get drafted. You know what I mean? So y'all like, comment, share, subscribe, man. Y'all know the vibes, man. And y'all let me know what y'all think about Ace Bailey's approach to the NBA draft. Do y'all think that he's plummeting his draft stock, or y'all think he'll be all right, man? Y'all let me know in the comments, man. I'm going to see y'all on the next one. Peace.